Many teachers will admit that they have negative responses to poetry themselves, and so we need teachers and librarians who can be excited about poetry. And when I ask them, what is it you find so off-putting, they think about their high school teachers who said to them, well, what does the poem mean? And certainly I'm in the group that thinks, poetry is to be experienced. It's an experience. And so I want students to hear poetry. I want students to feel that they can explore it without necessarily right or wrong answers. One of the examples that I use in Zing, which I found so moving, was years ago at a museum in Arizona. They had a poetry contest for teens, and the teens could write in their home language. And I got to be there to hear them. And it was wonderful, including one of the students did sign language because her parents, that was what they understood. And then when they turned this in for the contest, they did turn it in English, but when they actually did the performance, they could do it in their home language. Well, that is an interesting example of a very creative organizer, right, who allowed teens to use their multilingual talents and to be featured at this. It was a beautiful museum, and their parents were all in the audience. So we need to see more of this kind of experience. But I think allowing teens to be honest, but I try to differentiate with teens, because I tell them that they will not want to be my friend as soon as I tell them that my favorite part of the writing process is revision, and it is my favorite part. But I also try to tell teachers and librarians that we need to meet students where they are. So it's a little unfair to ask a teen sometimes to be excited about revision if he has just poured his heart out to you, and then we say, well, now go back and revise it. I mean, in private, teens will say, well, I read it to all my friends and they cried, they loved it. Well, teens need to feel that their writing has an audience. That's the first thing. That's why I want them to share it. They have to feel that there is an audience prepared to respond to them. And that's not to say that I'm not incredibly sympathetic to teachers who are trying to prepare students to use the conventions correctly so that they can pass those tests. I mean, it is very complex how we honor student creativity at the same time that we give them the skills that they're going to need. We would be dishonest with them. They're going to need to succeed as they move up through our educational system, which I want for all.